Yeah, but he's going to cooperate with the Nazis.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking,
No.
that's true.
Good evening, all. We were having a little discussion.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, welcome
I'm
to
kind
Bible
of
Prophecy
trying
and
to
Truth.
muster up a little bit of energy today.
Yeah, we're just tired. It's too cold.
Yeah, it's cold, so
We
I'm
wanna
not really
hibernate.
outside that much. Yeah. I don't want to
27
hibernate,
degrees here.
but cold makes me grouchy.
I got my fur coat, so I'm A-okay.
Well, I do have a jacket. I have a jacket and I have a whole bunch of hoodies and stuff like that, but
We don't have coats in Florida.
I'm used to being out. I'm very, very spoiled to the Florida weather. And I go out riding my bike every day and I'm in the sun and it's hot and I get exercise and it's
don't like
wonderful.
cold.
It's wonderful. Yeah. I'm not a
get up
Wyoming
to the 30s
person.
on this next week, and I'm like,
Almost
yes.
40 where you are. I know. See,
It's gonna
she's
be
happy.
blistering hot.
But Sunday, it's supposed to get only to like 47. The high is like 47 here. And I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's supposed to get down to like 21
no,
degrees.
No.
Which is like, I don't know.
20.
if
I thought it was
that's
25,
insane.
but maybe.
That's
It's
cold
21
enough
now.
to snow.
So,
But it's going to be clear skies.
yeah. So welcome everyone to Bible Prophecy and Truth. My name is Dan.
Everybody's staying warm.
I'm the author of BibleProphecyandTruth.com. This is my wife, Colleen, co-hosting and chat moderating,
Yes.
and our sister in Christ, Diane, from Minnesota via Zoom.
And she's here, and I'm really happy. I was like, I really need my sissy right now.
Oh,
And
We're
there she
glad
is.
you're here.
Hi, Lainey. Hi,
Hey,
sis.
Lainey. Welcome, sister. So we're going to talk about if the United States might be the great harlot of Revelation.
Great hoe.
We're going to look at that in great detail. And then, of course, we've got some news as it relates to biblical prophecy we'll be looking at as well. So welcome.
So would you please smash that like button? Click the like right now as we're speaking. Click the like button. Thank you so much. Subscribe to this channel. Go over to Rumble. Follow us on Rumble just in case. Go to videos.prophecyandtruth.com. videos.prophecyandtruth.com. That is where you will find our live streams. There's videos. It's the website. So there's all kinds of things to read. Please go over there and sign up for the newsletter and do it now. And then I want you to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any great uploads. And then share this video with literally everybody you've ever known in your life.
yeah, because there's a lot of people that you tell about it, and then they just get too lazy to watch any videos and stuff, and they're so good.
Yes, I know. There's all kinds of things. There's live streams. There's uploads that are going up all the time. There's so many. Look, it's going to be cold just about everywhere you are this weekend. Binge watch. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, just been.
That's
Hi,
what I'm going to be
Kathleen.
doing.
Hey, Kathleen, welcome. Good to see you. So share it with everyone and check out the videos.prophecyandtruth.com site because you can literally binge watch for hours and hours and hours on there.
Yes. Yes.
So, and that being said,
let's get into it.
So, first of all, as promised, I'm going to talk about the great harlot, the great, the Bible actually calls her, the great whore. So, I mean, that's what she is. and we're going to talk about what that means. Well, let's examine this in great detail. So there's several things that it says about her. So we need to look at each one of those things. And there's other places that we're going to talk about that we're going to look at where it talks about Babylon, because this is Mystery Babylon. The Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Hi, Grumpy.
Hey, Grumpy.
Liberty was a Greek goddess. They based it off her. It was gifted as well.
The Statue of Liberty. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
welcome. Glad to see you here. So let's look at some of the things that it says. She's the great whore that sits on many waters, and it tells us that the many waters are multitudes, peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So we don't have to guess what those waters mean. She's a woman that is a city.
Hello, Christopher. Welcome.
Hey, Christopher. Welcome. So she's a city, right?
Yes.
That reigneth over the kings of the earth. She's the 10 horns, which are the 10 horns of Revelation 13, the 10 horns of Revelation 7, or I'm sorry, Daniel 7, because the 4 beasts of Daniel 7 become one in Revelation 13, and it's the same 10 horns as the 4th beast of Daniel 7, the same 10 toes of Daniel 2, the same. So we're talking about the same 10 kings here in Revelation 17. The 7 heads of the beast represent 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. She's riding on the power of the Antichrist's his military and political rule with the beast of Revelation. So she's riding on that power. She's almost certainly the organization, the entity that the false prophet rules over. We'll talk about that a little bit. She's drunken with the blood of the saints.
Mm-hmm.
So she wears purple and scarlet. She's decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. So, and she sits up on that scarlet-colored beast, the 7-headed, 10-horned beast, as we see in Revelation 13, right? The same beast. It's the same thing that the beasts of Daniel 7 become one. So we're going to talk about each one of these things and look at the United States and see if it could be this entity. And I'm going to, one of the things that people aren't so sure about that I'm going to clarify for you is that Revelation 17 and 18 are definitely talking about this same entity. I know there's a lot of people that say that Revelation 18 is a different entity than Revelation 17, but let's look at that. I actually did a study on this a while ago. Looks like I wrote this article back in 2021 where I wrote this just to help people who were curious about that. Because if we look at Revelation 17 and 18 and compare what it says about her, we can see that it literally says the same things about this entity in both scriptures. The same name, Babylon the Great, is given in both 17 and 18. We see that she commits fornication with the kings of the earth in both chapters, in 17 and 18. We see that she's decked with gold, arrayed in purple and scarlet in both chapters. Mm-hmm. So she's a woman that is a great city in both chapters.
Right.
She's drunken with the blood of the saints in both chapters. She's a woman. Judgment has come to her. For in 1 hour thy judgment has come, the judgment of the great whore. Right. So there's really no question of whether or not this is the same entity in both places. It's talking about the same entity in both 17 and 18. And then we also have other places. I actually have it listed here where we see in Revelation 14 that it talks about Babylon falling, and in 16 as well. And remember, when we look at these chapters, when we look at Revelation 14, this is when the wrath of God is poured out. Is when the angel thrusts its sickle in the earth and the rapture happens, and the wrath of God is being poured out. In verse 8, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So very same very similar verbiage as we see in 17 and 18. And then also in what it shows us here is this, in Revelation 14, if you've studied Revelation and you know what this chapter is about, this is leading to the wrath of God. It's talking about the wrath of God, which is actually poured out in 15 and 16. We see the actual wrath of God being poured out. And in 16:19, in the seventh vial or seventh bowl, we see that the great city was divided into three parts. The cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before God. So in 14 and 16, we also see this same entity, this mystery Babylon. And it's important to remember that, or to note that this is the end of the wrath of God here in the seventh vial. So when it says that in 1 hour her destruction comes, it's important to note that, yes, it's at the end of the wrath of God that her destruction happens. So let's look in detail about who this entity is that's going to be destroyed when Christ returns. So if we go to this article that I have, I also talk about, well, there's a couple other things I note here. It's not the Babylon of the time of Daniel. That's important to differentiate. It is not the Babylon, the city of the time of Daniel, the Babylonian captivity of Israel. It is not that city. It is a mystery Babylon. It's a spiritual Babylon. It's a symbolic representation of Babylon, which is the enemy of God, literally. So it's not that. It's not the same physical Babylon that we had in the Old Testament. So, and then here's one thing I'd like to point out as well. This, Jesus warns to come out of her, my people, he says. So when we identify this entity, if you're part of that entity, it's important to remember to come out of her, right? And by that, it doesn't mean that, like, I mean, if you physically live in the city that is this place, then you'd probably want to move. But, what it really means is to come out of her doctrines, because when it talks about her being a whore, what it means is that she has gone against God. And I'm going to talk about that as well. So who is the great whore? In this article, I have a link to this other one, which has a list of those things that we just talked about. And I mentioned in here, that is it in the United States? Is it New York City? Is it Islam? Is it Israel? Because there's literally theories about all of that, where people try to say that it's all of those things, not all at once, but you know what I'm saying? There are people that say it's those in different, and they'll spend, a lot of time trying to explain what it is. And, I was inspired by this by a friend of mine, my brother in Christ, actually, sent me a video that was showing how that at least the guy making the video thought that the United States was the great whore. And so let's just start looking at it, because these are the things that are listed in that specifically about how to identify this entity. So she's a woman, right? So she's definitely a woman. And I want to point out, if we look at 2 Corinthians chapter 11, and look at what Paul says about the church, is that he has espoused us to one husband, a chaste virgin to Christ. Mm-hmm. It is, the church is a woman. It's a female, right? So, and then there's many, many times in the Old Testament, I'm going to show you here, where God talks about those that turn against him in the Old Testament where they've gone a whoring after other gods. They've gone a whoring after other gods, after other gods, after other gods. I mean, this over and over and over and over, he talks about this. And what it means is it's not a false religion that he's speaking of. It's his people that have gone a whoring after other gods and turned against him. So that's not like proof of anything, but that's a very strong indication that this is, when he's talking about this whore, it is a entity that at least at one point, or claims to be of God, but has turned and is the enemy of God now. So that's one thing that we need to understand about who she is. She's a woman, which symbolizes a church, and that sits on many peoples and nations. Right? So first of all, does this match the United States? Well, people say that the peoples and nations are because the United States has its fingers in everything all over the world. I think that's kind of reaching, but I mean, it is true that we're involved in so many different things around the world. We've got bases all over the world. So, that might, you could make that fit if you wanted it to. And we've got the thing about the thing about prophecy is it has to fit every single thing of the prophecy, or what you think it means is not what it means. If it doesn't fit in every single point, that is not it. So we have to remember that when we're studying prophecy and we're trying to say, well, what is this thing? What do we think it is based on the modern world, right? Especially now, since we're undoubtedly in the end time, we can see the pictures that God painted for us very clearly, which you could not see them before. They couldn't tell what these symbolic pictures God painted meant in the past. But now that we're at the time of the end, we certainly can. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to show you here in Daniel chapter 12, when God said, "Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end." Not forever, just until the time of the end. So now that it's the time of the end, we can see the pictures God painted really clearly. I mean, it's awesome. So that's one thing that we have to remember as well. So it's a woman, it's a church, it's a religious entity, say, that sits on many peoples and nations. That doesn't really match the United States. Peoples and nations, I mean, kind of, sort of, you could make it fit, but she's going to ride on the power of the Antichrist union of nations. So that's something that is in the future. This is prophetic. This is not something that we can point a finger at right now, because the Antichrist has not made a union of nations yet. It's something that's going to happen fairly soon. She's rich and powerful. And this is one thing that America, really does fit, right? Because she's very rich and very powerful.
Forbidden.
Yeah. Hey, Forbidden Planet, welcome. And this is what, the money is what people focus on when they talk about the United States being this entity, because, the power and the money and the control that, we have over the monetary system over the world is, with the dollar, and it does seem to fit, right? When you look at that aspect of it. And that's the thing, like this video that my friend sent me, it's like the video only focused on a few of these things. It actually just completely and utterly ignored some of the things that it says specifically about this entity. And there's a reason for that, because she's wearing purple and scarlet.
Yeah, we're red, white, and blue.
That does not fit. That there's nothing about the United States that can say we wear purple and scarlet.
Right.
Yeah.
and she's the mother of harlots. She's the mother of false churches, which also, how do you get the United States out of that? I mean, it doesn't seem to fit for me. She's a city that sits on 7 hills. So she's not a whole country, right? She's a city. I mean, it specifically says that. So, and that's why some people say, well, it's New York City. But then again, New York, if it's New York, then it has to fit every single one of these descriptions of her wearing purple and scarlet. New York is not a church that sits on many peoples and nations. Now I know we've got the United Nations, the headquarters in the U.S. here in New York, but that's not really sitting on many peoples and nations, because if she sits on many peoples and nations, that means she has to be there, right? She's sitting there in those nations, among those peoples. So just because we have a United Nations headquarters in New York, that doesn't really fit that she's sitting on those nations. She's a city that sits on 7 hills. New York is not known for the city of 7 hills. I mean, there is a city in this world that's known for the city of 7 hills, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. She's a city that reigns over the kings of the earth, and it's not that she is the king, but that she rules the kings. And that's a very important distinction to make, because a lot of people, when they're trying to explain who this entity is, they try to say that she's the king. Well, no, she's not the king. She just tells the kings what to do. And that's another thing that could fit the United States, of course, because the United States tends to give orders to nations that have capitulated to our rule, in a sense, right? We're not a world dominating power, but I mean, we don't rule the earth, but we have a lot of power and a lot of control because we control the money, and we're a very powerful nation.
So Forbidden made a statement. Sounds like Islam with the false churches on the 7 hills. Sounds like Rome. And then Christopher said, I don't think America is luxurious enough to be Babylon. And you're right, I agree. Babylon is a city. And then Forbidden said Vatican.
Nor is America in a desert. And those are very good points.
Right.
And that's why, some people say that Islam is this entity. And, and when the city of 7 hills is definitely Rome. I mean, that's a name that was given to her. And that the luxury, America is very rich. So, there's other nations that certainly have a lot of money, especially Islamic nations, right? But that doesn't prove anything unless it fits all of these statements about her. So Islam is not a city, right? Islam is not a church. Islam is not the mother of false churches. Islam does not have child churches. I mean, sure, there's the Shiites and the Sunnis, and there's different factions, of course, but she's not literally like the mother of false churches. You really couldn't say that about Islam, because it began with Muhammad, and it's really just a linear progression since then. Everybody fights. The Shiites and the Sunnis they fight about who's the true legitimate heir to, who's really a descendant of Muhammad, and so on and so forth. And they fight about that, but there's nothing that really says that she's a mother of false churches. Drunken with the blood of the saints? Oh, certainly. Islam could be said to be that. America? Drunken with the blood of the saints? How could that fit America at all?
Well, many Christians, no.
Yeah, I know.
Not America.
And certainly Rome, the Holy Roman Empire, the Vatican, the Catholic Church killed many, many Christians over the years.
We'll see you later, Forbidden. God bless you also.
All right, take care. We'll
see you soon.
The kings of the earth commit adultery with her, which is really
Yeah.
adultery. Committing adultery with her is worshiping false gods with her, committing to that false religion. And America doesn't really fit that either, because America doesn't really claim to be any religion. It was founded on Christianity. But, we're supposed to be this nation that's open to all, freedom of religion. Doesn't really cause anyone to be a certain religion, right? So when we look at this, America doesn't really fit the first statement. We'll see about this. She's rich and powerful. Certainly she does not wear purple and scarlet. She's not the mother of harlots. She's not a city, and she doesn't sit on 7 hills. She reigns over the kings of the earth in a sense, but she's not a city that reigns over the kings of the earth. And she doesn't really fit that description. She's not drunken with the blood of the saints. The kings of the earth don't really commit adultery with her in a religious sense.
Right.
And she's certainly hated by the 10 kings that will align with the Antichrist, because when we look at those 10 kings and we look at what it's going to be in the end time and what the scriptures say about it, is those 10 kings are almost certainly going to be Islamic kings, and they're going to hail the Mahdi of Islam. That will be the Antichrist, and he's going to create that 10 king union probably fairly soon. So to be hated by the 10 kings, certainly, but the point I'm making here is that if it's going to be that entity, it has to fit every single one of the descriptions. And the United States does not. There's things that just absolutely don't fit, especially since the United States is not a city. I mean, that just point blank makes her not a candidate for this entity. Same with Islam. It's not a city. Same with Israel, not a city. I mean, Israel doesn't even fit the vast majority of these, right? So what is this entity? That's the thing that we need to look at, is what entity in the world today actually fits every single one of those descriptions? Because there is an entity that does.
Forbidden got it.
Yeah.
But he had to leave.
Had to leave. Yeah. So absolutely there is an entity in it. So when we talk about a church, there is a church that's certainly,
Yeah.
Yes, Lainey. And that's this church right here. This is the Vatican that we're looking at St. Peter's Basilica. And with the obelisk in the middle of it, it was, the satanic symbol in there, which, when you look at this thing from the top down, it fits the all-seeing eye, the obelisk, and the compass of the 33rd degree Masons in its design, big time. But but we're not going there. What we're talking about today is this entity in Revelation, the mystery Babylon. So she's definitely a church, and she's definitely a church that has daughters.
She said, right? It's across the Tibor
River. And it literally is encompassed in
the 7 hills
in Rome.
Yeah.
Because it's actually inside of Rome that the Vatican sits, and Rome is the city of 7 hills. It's called that. Mm-hmm. So she's a church. She sits on many peoples and nations and tongues. This is a graph of the density of population of Catholics all over the world. Now notice there's nowhere, I think there's nowhere that there's none, right? Every single nation across the world has some Catholics in it.
So why isn't America?
America is dark colored.
the darker, I see what you're saying.
The darker, the more.
Million.
Yeah.
I see.
So there's I mean, all
South
over the
America,
world.
yeah.
And Brazil has the vast majority of
Canada,
the density
there's a lot of
Catholics. I mean, this is
French
you would
Canadians.
think that Europe would have more than anywhere because
I
they're so close to
know.
Rome.
Right?
yeah, but it's this, and this chart is the number of Catholics. So it's out of the 2 billion, more than 1 billion are Roman Catholic, according to the data released by numbers alone. So this, it depends on the population of the country as well, right? So, Europe is almost, most people in Europe are Roman Catholic, except, the new invaders.
Yeah.
But it's been Catholic for
That's
millennia. But it's the numbers that it's talking about here. It's greater than 130 million. It's just because there's that many
South
right
America
in that,
are a
so
lot.
South America has a lower population overall than the United States, but it has more Catholics. And that's what this chart is actually the number of Catholics, not the I was wrong when I said the density, because it's really just the number of Catholics in those nations. So, but the point is that it's all over the world, literally sitting among these peoples and nations and tongues all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Is where the Catholic Church sits. She's carried away in the spirit into the wilderness, sitting on the scarlet-colored beast. When you study prophecy, when you study prophecy, this is a picture of the Antichrist and his aligned nations, and his relationship with the false prophet, who is almost certainly the Pope, the leader of the Catholic Church. And so this fits, even though it's still yet to be. It fits very well when we study prophecy. Wearing purple and scarlet. This is the thing. This was the thing when I was first looking at this and first studying this and first looking at everybody's interpretations of it. There's nobody that fits purple and scarlet better.
And they
than the
really
Catholic
don't
Church.
read the Bible, because they would be like, "Oh, that's us.
Yeah, well, it is. I
We
know.
the hoe. We the hoe."
Yeah. And well, but that's why
Really.
Jesus said, "Come out of her, my people," because there are certainly Catholics that love Jesus,
I believe
and
that.
they need to come out of her. And what does it say? It says, "Lest you be partakers of her sins." So if you're a Catholic and you love Jesus, you need to come out, or you're going to be punished with her.
You can't tell God that you love him and then go off into another direction.
Right.
And be cavorting with this whore, right?
With people who don't truly love him.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a very stern warning to Catholics, right? If you love Jesus, you need to come out. Yeah. So purple and scarlet, a golden cup in her hand,
It's like, hello,
and the riches of the Catholic Church go way beyond what anybody really realizes. I've seen lots and lots and lots of documentation. Now, certainly she's been losing money in recent years, but she's still very, very rich and very powerful. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and say this, because if you haven't seen my article on who is the puppet master, you need to watch that video or read the article, because she is almost certainly the head of the snake.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Vatican's been around for 1700 years. And for centuries now, literally 3, 4, 5, 6 centuries, has been building the secret society that we have in the world today, that's almost in complete control of the entire planet, which is led, of course, by Satan. So, I mean, this is all just, it all just rolls up right up into the Vatican, the Catholic Church. She's the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. I mean, all of these, and the thing is, I have I have an article I'm going to show you here on BibleProphecyandTruth.com. If you look at what is a false religion, and then scroll to where the Catholic religion and her daughters, I talk about this very thing where Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger actually said, do I have it in this one? Maybe I don't have it in this one. Oh, yeah, I do. Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, Pope John Paul II's closest aide, said that it's incorrect to refer to Christian churches ranging from Orthodox to Protestant as sister churches of the Catholic Church, stating that the term sister puts them on equal footing and they are not sisters, but the Catholic Church is the mother. And that's actually true. I mean, at the Reformation, the Catholic Church, at the Reformation, they came out of the Vatican because they knew her error, but they brought way too many traditional doctrines out of her and kept them.
Yeah.
Instead of going back to biblical Christianity, they kept a lot of the dogmas of the Catholic Church, even though they came out of her. And then over the last, 500 years, they have slowly but surely kind of gone reverse, and the churches of today really are just Catholic churchianity. They're just, church is what saves you. The mentality, the teaching, the lies, and the dogmas of tradition,
It is
all the same as the Catholic Church. Yeah, so she's definitely the mother of harlots. And there, that's like you were saying, Lainey, Rome is called the city of seven hills. It literally, and even the Catholic Encyclopedia, it's within the city of Rome, called the city of seven hills, that the entire area of the Vatican State proper is now confined. I mean, it just says that in the Catholic Encyclopedia.
They don't read the Bible.
So the Vatican is virtually sitting on seven mountains, the city of seven hills. And then, she's that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Now, now this is the thing that really fits so well too, because the Catholic Church, when you look at this, oh wait, I have it here. Sorry. I have it up here. We were looking at that map. When you look at this map, that she pretty much rules Europe. She pretty much rules Brazil. She rules so many of the nations that she sits on, and she's not the king, right? She's never been the king. But she crowns kings, right?
Yeah.
The birth of the Holy Roman nation, Charlemagne was crowned emperor of the Holy Roman nation by the Catholic Pope. They rule those nations by ruling the people. When the Catholic Church becomes a dominant force in any country, a majority, they tell the king what to do. They pretty much rule that country. So so far, every single thing fits with this great city.
There's the compass.
And this is what I was talking about, the compass of the Freemasons, right? This is the top of the compass with the legs going out this way, right? And then the obelisk, the all-seeing eye in the middle there. There's so many symbols of the secret society in this design. It's just amazing. And then, she definitely reigns over the kings of the earth. She's drunken with the blood of the saints. An estimated 68 million Christians have been put to death over the years for refusing to bow to the Catholic Church.
Christopher has a question.
So when did Rome heal from the deadly wounds? So that's a leading question, Christopher, and I'm going to say that the question isn't even valid because you're saying that Rome is the beast of Revelation 13. I disagree. Rome doesn't need to heal from deadly wounds. There's a lot to be said about that. And one of the things, people say that Rome has to be in the end time. Well, Rome is in the end time. When we look at Daniel 2, the 5th section, it's the iron mingled with clay. It's the Holy Roman/Islamic Empire that exists at the end when Christ returns. And, it's the people of the prince that shall come, right, in Daniel. Well, remember, the people of the prince that shall come destroyed the city and the sanctuary. And when we look at what happened in 70 AD, there were many Arab mercenaries. There were literally peoples from all nations that Rome ruled. They were part of the armies of Rome. And so the people of the prince that shall come could be any of those because they were all part of it. It does not mean that has to be a Roman. And the Romans are involved, definitely. But the thing that we have to remember is that in Revelation chapter 13, how many men are involved? Well, there's the Antichrist, but then there's the second beast. There's the false prophet. And that false prophet, I'm absolutely convinced myself, you don't have to believe this, but the false prophet is almost certainly the Pope and definitely comes out of Rome.
He said, no, I'm just asking. I thought you were saying that Rome was the beast of the Antichrist. I'm sorry, just came back in.
Oh, no worries. And sorry, I misinterpreted your question, but I am not saying that. In fact, what I'm saying right now is that the Vatican is the entity supported by the false prophet, which is the man that supports the Antichrist and causes the world to worship the Antichrist, right? He causes them to worship the first beast by doing great wonders. He's gonna be doing miracles. And he's gonna pull fire right out of the sky so that people will see that and go, wow, he has godly power. But they're not going to understand that he has the ability to do this in the sight of the beast. Because why? Because the dragon gives his power to the beast. And so the
Pope that we have now, is he the youngest Pope?
No, I don't believe so.
No, I thought they said he was the youngest Pope.
The youngest.
I don't think so. I haven't heard that.
Oh.
He's not that old, but I don't think he's the youngest Pope ever. I haven't heard that anyway. I don't know. I can't say, but I haven't heard that. But definitely not saying that, Christopher. The entity that is the Antichrist beast is the union of these nations, right? There's 13 nations that he's going to create a union with. And that will be his political and military power base, the beast. It'll be his kingdom, right? His kingdom is the beast. The Antichrist himself is a man that rules that kingdom. And he's going to be supported by the false prophet. So thanks for asking. I was able to clear that up, at least from what. And there's so many. We could go for hours and hours and hours and talk about all of these different aspects of prophecy, and they literally all fit together like a hand in a glove.
So Pope Leo, elected on May at the age of
69,
now ranks among the youngest popes in the last 300 years.
So in the last 300, he's
the youngest pope elected in this period was Pius. Who was just 54 when he ascended to the papacy
in 1846.
In 1846. So
so he's not the youngest.
This time
he was one of the youngest in the last few hundred years. But
yes, so you're right, Sissy.
Yeah. So and then for all nations have drunk of the wine of her fornication. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her. The merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries. And, one of the things I've heard people argue about is just, that the Catholic Church doesn't seem to be flaunting as much riches as it used to. And it doesn't. And the thing is that it doesn't matter that she's not quite as rich today as she has been in the past. She's filthy, stinking rich. Roman Catholic Church over the centuries. I mean, it's still
massive.
Rich.
They may not be adding to the riches, but they're still rich.
Yes.
And then, there's a lot. I've actually got, I've got a note on my notes menu on the origin of the Catholic Church. And on this, I have some notes about her wealth. There's some Islam. There's some articles that I have linked here on the wealth of the Catholic Church. Yeah, here's one. The National Post from a few years ago, of course. In 2013, there was an insider exposing the corruption of the church and the massive, massive wealth that they have in the Vatican Bank and the corruption that's involved there. And then, how much money that they really, really have is very unknown to the world. But they're definitely filthy, stinking rich.
But everybody that tries to expose them
dies.
Unalives.
Dies, yeah.
Yeah.
Unalives, yeah. Yeah. So every single thing about this entity, when we look at all these questions, right? She's a woman that sits on many peoples and nations, definitely the Vatican. She will ride the power of the Antichrist union of nations. If she's the entity of the false prophet, yeah, she's going to be riding the beast big time. She's rich and powerful. She wears purple and scarlet. She's the mother of harlots. She's a city that sits on 7 hills. She reigns over the kings of the earth. She's drunken with the blood of the saints, and the kings of the earth commit adultery with her. And she's hated, of course, Catholicism, Christianity is hated by Islam, right? Judaism and Christianity are
which
equal
includes Catholicism.
Devils, according to Islam. Yeah. So they hate her. And, that's the thing about it's kind of, when you look at Revelation 17, it says that the 10 horns, the 10 kings shall hate the whore.
I know.
But God puts it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, even though he's made a league with the great whore. They're still going to they're still going to lift up the Antichrist as their Mahdi and still do this because God puts it in their hearts to do so. Even though they hate the Vatican. They hate Christians and Jews equally. So that's really, there's way more depth we could go into and talk about the Antichrists and the beast and the 10 king nation of Daniel 7 that the Antichrist will create. And I know a lot of people try to say that 10 king union is already in existence, but I would like to offer anybody who's new watching this, if you go to videos.prophecyandtruth.com, which what I just did is on BibleProphecyandTruth.com. There's this link right here at the top of the page to the video site. And when you go there under biblical prophecy, there's this link to Daniel 7 and the fourth beast of Daniel, or Daniel 11 and the fourth beast of Daniel 7. And this is so absolutely mind-blowing interesting. And I did a live stream on it, but then I went ahead and made a video and created a document about this because in Daniel 7, we actually see the creation of the beast of, in Daniel 11, we see the creation of the fourth beast of Daniel 7, that 10 king union. We actually see it being created in Daniel 11. It's absolutely amazing. And then, I've got lots and lots and lots of articles about, the prophecy and, the modern nations in the Bible, the 4 beasts of Daniel 7, and then, the 4 horsemen, of course, and, the trumpets and prophecy in the present times. And prophecy in the present times, I talk a lot about the Catholic Church and the prophecy of Daniel 2. And I point out, what I was just referring to earlier, right? The Vatican is the the 5th section of Daniel 2, that iron and the feet and the toes mingled of iron mingled with clay, trying to get the words right, are in existence when Christ returns. And this is something that we see in history, and we know that there's not going to be any new world dominating power. Like, we're talking about an empire that rules the earth, that has conquered the earth. We're not talking about like the United States has, controls a lot of the money and has a lot of power, but we have not conquered the earth. We haven't gone in and militarily taken over the whole region that Rome ruled, right? We haven't done that. And that's the thing, is this will be the final ruling empire that existed in the past and will again exist in the future, because the Holy Roman Empire is really just the European Union today, just with a different name. The Islamic Ottoman Empire is just the Arab League today. It's the same entities with a different name. And when the Pope aligns with the Islamic Mahdi and unites to create this one world government and one world religion, this will be the same ruling power that it's talking about in that prophecy. And yes, Doug, that's exactly right.
Hello, Doug.
When in my Modern Nations in the Bible, chapter 4, I talk about that very thing, where what it really looks like, this 4-headed leopard is Germany. And, definitely we're in the Fourth Reich, right? The Third Reich died with Hitler and the wall. But when the wall came down, Germany began rebuilding it. Germany is again the strongest nation in Europe now.
EU.
And I definitely agree with you there that the leopard is the 4-headed leopard is Germany. And one of the deadly, one of the heads was wounded unto death. And that's one of the things that I have to point out to people all the time, is that one of his heads were wounded unto death. People try to say that this is the Antichrist who died. Well, no, it's talking about the 7-headed 10-horned beast. It's the 13 nations of Daniel 7 that are combined into one under the rule of the Antichrist. And it's only one of the heads of the beast, one of the 7 heads of this 7-headed 10-horned beast, right? So it's not the Antichrist himself. This is a symbolic picture. So good points. And then, as I said, there's a lot more that we could study. But,
He's asking a question. Wings of on leopard's back.
And that's what I actually note about that. Yes. Is that the wings of the fowl are probably, because France's national animal symbol is a fowl, right? So it definitely could fit that. Absolutely. And then the eagle's wings plucked from the lion, definitely the United States. I mean, that's one that's just so clear, as these eagle's wings on the lion were plucked, right? The Declaration of Independence, and
you said Revolutionary War.
Well, when the United States seceded from Europe, from England. So yeah, definitely, and that's what I talk about on this article, Modern Nations in the Bible, chapter 4. So absolutely think that is now one of the things I always point out, right, Uncle Sam, good points, Doug. And so the thing that I always point out when we're looking at this, though, that I always try to do a little disclaimer, because until everything has come to pass,
right,
we can't say absolutely certain that this is what it means. Now, we're so close to the end time, and these are such a perfect fit. And it's, in my mind, I'm absolutely certain, but I, as a teacher, can't tell you that we know this for a fact. And I like to point that out because there's certain things that we do know, right? We can't know for sure that Islam will be the fourth beast. We don't know for sure the identity of these beasts. We don't know for sure all of these things. There are things we know.
Yeah.
And that's why I make the differentiation here, because differentiation, yeah, I can speak. So there's going to be four kings, right? They're identifiable by the images that God painted for us. And just like I showed in Revelation, or in Daniel 12, right? God said the words are closed up and sealed until the time of the end. Now that it's the time of the end, the pictures that God painted are just clearer. So absolutely, they're coming alive. It's so awesome. But I always like to make that disclaimer, right? We can't say we know for sure that the Bible says, right? We can say this is what it looks like, and this is the most absolute perfect fit that I've seen from anybody's interpretations of this and what they think it is. This just fits so absolutely well. So we have to remember that when all of these things come to pass, we'll be able to look at it and go, yes, absolutely.
Yes. Gold
Rome
cup,
is 37 hills, purple and scarlet, cardinals and bishops, lost souls, men of the Vatican, gold cup is Vatican. Yeah, that all of those. That's why, every single one of these things fits the Vatican. Absolutely. So we're there.
Yeah, we're there.
And is it the United States? No. The United States does not fit many of those. There's just too much that doesn't fit for it to be the U.S. So that's one thing, I can say definitely not. It's definitely not America. It's definitely not Islam. It's definitely not Israel. It fits to a T the Vatican. So that's where we're at, right? We're watching all the prophecies come to pass right now. We're watching every single sign that Jesus gave that would herald his coming is literally happening right now. So we're watching, and when we see all these things come to pass, it'll be so obvious when it does.
I know. Yeah. He said a lot of people think that it's New York City or Jerusalem, but they're not actually looking at what Scripture says about what
because,
it is.
There's too many things about New York that doesn't fit. New York doesn't wear purple and scarlet, neither does Jerusalem. It's not a city that sits on 7 hills. There's too many things about both of those that don't fit. And I talk about that, right? Is it these things, or, if it doesn't fit every single description, it's not it. And I know, just like I was saying, when I started, the video that my friend sent me, it was trying to make America this entity, and it just completely ignored many of these things about it that the Bible says. It didn't even mention them because they don't fit. And that's why it's so important for us to read the Bible for ourselves, study it for ourselves, and learn from God, instead of listening to all these podcasters out there that are just liars.
It says Washington, D.C. used to be Rome, Maryland. Okay, well, that's a little ironic.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So that's my, my little documentary, I guess I'll call it, on can the U.S. be the great whore? The answer is no. Can't be, because she doesn't fit.
So Christopher has a question. If the false prophet not coming out of America, which country is going to make America submit to the Antichrist?
So that's a good question, Christopher. And that's one of the things that we talk a lot about on this podcast was Trump's.
He's got all these little.
But one of the things we talk about all the time on this podcast is the coming sixth trumpet war. and what the world is going to call World War III, most certainly. And it's going to end with the utter destruction of a third part of mankind. And so when we look at what happens in that war, it's where does the United States end after that? And we talked about just in the last couple of lives, we talked about where the United States is not in the Bible other than the eagle's wings being plucked. They don't appear in Revelation 13. And definitely not the entity in Revelation 12, because it's the same verbiage as coming out of coming out of Egypt, right? In Exodus, where God bore them on eagle's wings in Exodus. And so in Revelation 12, when it talks about the eagle's wings, it's just God. So the United States is not there. Now that the Antichrist is going to be fighting multiple battles during his reign, the U.S. could be one of those. But what we talked about last time is if the U.S. is at full power like it is today, the Antichrist would really have no chance fighting the United States. What I think is very likely is that, and no, the eagle is not the U.S. It's the same verbiage. If you read in Exodus, when God brought Israel out of Egypt, he bore them on eagle's wings. It's the same thing. It's just God that's going to keep Israel protected. And the thing to remember is now I lost my train of thought. So when the war happens, it's likely going to be the United States will, because when you look at the sixth trumpet and it's going to kill 3 billion people, there's absolutely no way a traditional conventional war can kill 3 billion people.
Yeah.
It would take way too much ammunition and way too much time to kill that many people. It's almost certainly going to end in a nuclear exchange, and which John seems to be describing in the book of Revelation. So at the sixth trumpet. So when that happens, the United States will almost certainly be hit with some nukes. Will probably not utterly destroy us, but will knock us back into not so powerful of a nation, which could, and that's the thing, is we always hope. This is our hope, is that we don't capitulate to the Antichrist, that we're not. And so answer me this though, Doug, if Biden had been elected for another term, or Kamala, or someone else of that type of person is in power when the Antichrist takes over, what do you think he's going to do, or she?
Give in.
They're going to give in. They're going to be part of that system. Absolutely. There's no way. So all it would take is for the deep state to win, right? And for, the Democrats to take over again during the time of the Antichrist, for the U.S. to just be submitted to that. But I don't think it's going to happen that way. I think it's going to be that the United States will be injured in the war, and won't necessarily be able to defend herself so much. Maybe,
I believe that too, Doc.
Might be one of the wars that the Antichrist is fighting. I hope that we have someone like Trump in power, where maybe we'll still be holding out against the Antichrist system and still be able to preach the gospel. That would be absolutely awesome. Can't really count on that though, and there's nothing in scripture that really says.
I don't think we are going to. Just things that are going on now, false. I think it's false security.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and definitely, Doug. Trump is being used by God. Absolutely. And, we're waiting for, is it going to be the Abraham Accords, or is it going to be a forced two-state solution? Right. And we're watching for either or, because if the Abraham Accords bring about the confirmation of the covenant, then that would be the confirmation of the covenant. If they sign a peace treaty that gives Israel the right to exist and draws her borders, that would be the confirmation of the covenant God made with Abraham about Israel. Right. Now, if they force a two-state solution, they would also be forced to draw the borders of Israel and give her the right to exist, even if they force a two-state. So either way, it could be the confirmation of the covenant. So we just, we're waiting to see which way it goes.
I know.
So, yeah. So that's all I got on the Great Hope. I'm going to switch gears now. I'm going to
Great hoe.
Yeah. I'm going to switch gears now, and there's some news articles to look at today because we like to look at the news as it relates to biblical prophecy and we're literally watching prophecy unfold before our eyes. If you have not seen this article on when is the end of the world, if you go to BibleProphecyandTruth.com and just go to the home page and scroll about 2/3 of the way down to where you see this picture, this is where I have the documentation and a whole video series that Diane did at the bottom, an embedded playlist where Diane did a video on each of the signs specifically. But in this document, I talk about all of the signs that Jesus gave that would herald his coming, and they're literally all happening right now. I mean, everything is literally happening right before our eyes. So I've got all that documentation there. Please do check it out. Watch the videos.
Doug is like sending all these little trivial things, information. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Chernobyl means wormwood. Absolutely.
Yes.
I believe that was the third trumpet. Yes. And it's so amazing. Since you brought it up,
go lay down, dude.
I've got a document on BibleProphecyandTruth.com.
Go lay down.
The seventh trumpets, chapter 6. And I talk about that very thing where if you scroll to the third trumpet, and you look at Chernobyl and you look at the radiation, the path of the radiation storm from that went all across Europe. And the main thing about this trumpet was the water. And many men died because of the water. And, the waters were polluted all through Europe from that, hundreds of thousands of, and then, who knows how many millions of people have been infected by that and their offspring, and definitely wormwood is, if you said,
that was horrible.
If you said Chernobyl in the Ukraine language, you would find that wormwood actually means Chernobyl. So, yeah, that's one of the mind-blowing things about prophecy is just
the radioactive water, right?
Exactly, and that's what happened. So, but I'm going to go through some news now because when we're watching for the signs, some of the signs are earthquakes, great earthquakes in diverse places, which is why we always we keep our eye on the earthquakes and. What's going on right now in the world, 2,378 earthquakes in the last 7 days. We're still having activity here in Russia where you had that 8.8 and then, 7s and 6s all over the place. I mean, this area is going nuts. And then all along this whole ridge, in fact, all along through here has just been so active with high level, strong earthquakes. Japan's getting hit right and left.
They're getting plummeted.
So we're
5 and 6s. Ooh.
Yeah. And
they got to get out of that area.
Yeah, I know. I'd be like, if I was living in Japan, I might be thinking about moving. Yeah.
They're about ready to go under.
Good luck with Taiwan. If you still want it, you can have it.
Yeah, I know. But
not worth anything.
But one of the signs that Jesus gave was signs in the heavens. And as I pointed out, if you look at Genesis and look at the firmament that God describes in Genesis, and he says that the firmament is heaven. It's called heaven. And it includes our atmosphere. There are many layers and overlaid layers of waters and firmaments in Genesis. And there's many, many layers, including our atmosphere, that the birds fly in. It specifically says that. So when we talk about signs in the heavens, that includes our atmosphere. It includes our solar system, like all of the major solar storms coming off of the sun, these big ones that increase in intensity and frequency of everything. The storms in our atmosphere, solar storms, just so everything is increasing.
That's signs in the heavens.
So when we talk about the farce, the lie of global warming, we know that God said there was going to be things happening, that men's hearts would be failing them for fear because of the things happening on the earth. And so, we're having the last few seasons, we've had record-breaking winter storms, followed by record-breaking summer storms, followed by record-breaking winter storms. And here we are again in winter storms that are just breaking records like crazy. I mean,
some people have gotten feet of snow.
And that number
cold.
That number is going down without power. So there's only now like 50,000. So
there was 600,000 the last I heard. So they've actually restored most of it.
They restored a lot.
Yeah, because it was 800,000 and went down to 600,000. But I'm glad to hear that they're getting their power back, because in those extreme conditions,
and when
you don't have power, you're going to freeze to death.
Yeah.
Let's see. Christopher.
Well, thanks for being here, Christopher.
Thank you for being here, Christopher.
Hope to see you back.
Thanks for answering my questions. I have to run. Have a good night. You too. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
God bless you.
Subscribe and like. Good. Thank you.
Awesome. So this is just another thing, one of the signs that Jesus gave. And I'm going to go look, because I think we might hit like an all-time record for cold here in Central Florida. If it gets down to 21 degrees, I don't know if it's ever been that cold here. I'm going to have to look that up.
Maybe up north in Florida.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Central Florida here. Yeah. It's supposed to get really, really cold. So the 10 kingdoms, Douglas, I actually talk about that, the video series that I mentioned, or not the video series, but the video and the documentation. If you go to videos.prophecyandtruth.com, under Daniel 11 and the fourth beast, under biblical prophecy, there's this video that I did just recently on Daniel 11 and the fourth beast of Daniel 7. And then I've got a document if you prefer to read, or you can watch the video. But I talk a bit about that. And I talk about, identifying the Antichrist and the fourth beast, because those 10 kingdoms are probably have not even been created yet. That 10 kingdom union, the fourth beast of Daniel 7, doesn't even exist yet, but it's going to when the Mahdi of Islam declares himself the Mahdi. And as we saw in Revelation 17, God puts it in the hearts of the 10 kings to give their power to the beast. They're going to lift him up as the Mahdi of Islam. He's going to create that 10-nation union, which will then join with the other 3 beasts of Daniel 7 to become one political and military power base in Revelation 13 that the Antichrist uses to rule the world.
Hi, Rick. Said is firmament.
So expanse, yes, in the King James, and it's really, if you look at firmament and what it means, because the firmament here is, when you say expanse, that's actually correct, because properly an expanse, right, which is from H7554, which is to overlay. So when you look at what the firmament really means, what that word means, I actually have that on my creation versus evolution study that I've done. And if you look at chapter 25 on BibleProphecyandTruth.com, what is the firmament? I talk about that very thing, where we look at what these words means. It's an expanse, and by implication to overlay is what the firmament is. So it's layers of God's creation, of the heavens, right? Of everything from the surface of the earth and outward is literally the heaven. And that's what that means. Yeah. So if your version says expanse, it's correct. Yeah.
Mhm.
So let me go back to my document. So, and thank you for your comments and questions. I love them. So let's continue here. Those are the signs. We always look at the signs and follow the signs, and any new information that comes up, of course, we always bring it up. So on to some other things. And I'm going to talk a bit about the other signs, which is wars and rumors of wars, which, when we look at what's going on with Iran and Russia and China and everything going on, wars and rumors of wars, but just a couple of things.
Are we surprised
Yeah,
that Barack and Michael Obama are
Michael.
Michael Obama. Yeah, so, and it's not surprising that they're coming out to, they're condemning ICE, and because, the secret society rules the deep state, right? The deep state is just an arm of the secret society.
Not surprising.
And, Obama is definitely a major puppet of the secret society, did more to destroy this country than any president's ever done.
Except for Biden.
Well, Biden just continued.
Yeah, but it was really bad with Biden.
What Obama was doing, excuse me.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that they're, condemning.
But I never
ICE
expected Obama to be the one to actually try to get these people to cause problems.
Yeah, he very subtly created a race war, right? He brought racism back because racism was really dying in the U.S. and Obama really did a lot to resurrect racism, big time. And that they want a race war. They're pushing for a race war. That's why they're doing this in Minnesota, because they're trying to create an actual race war. They want it. Yeah, and this whole the paid agitators, they're just trying to incite insurrection. They're trying to incite a not a race war, what's it, when we fight each other, civil war.
Civil war.
Yeah, so they're trying to create a civil war,
revolution, whatever.
They want that. They want it. Yes. They want to destroy the United States.
Yeah, I just always thought that he would be the person who would say, hey, people need to go home.
Yeah, but that's just because
do what they need to do.
That's because of the deception of his entire career, as he pretends to be this loving man that just wants peace when he's literally pushing the exact opposite subtly to create division. That's what he's done in his whole career. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Is this who I think it is?
Yeah, no, it's both sides of the aisle, Rick. Absolutely. There's you can't just blame it on the Democrats.
That's exactly
There's plenty of rhinos that are warmongers. It's just horrible.
Yes, I agree with that.
Absolutely. And they're all
politically orphans. Okay.
Yeah. They're all part of, what they all are is they're all puppets of the secret society is what they are. Yeah. So this was just kind of a wait, are you kidding me kind of thing, right? They're offering free beer all day long on the day that someone unalives President Trump.
What?
I mean, seriously, they're going to offer free beer all day long on the day that he's unalived. Yeah. I mean, this is
that's
preposterous.
That actor.
Yeah, what's his name? The one that I hate. Yeah, that guy.
He played Elf in the movie.
Yeah, Elf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in Washington State, this is interesting because this happens all the time in Europe and in Africa, but here we are seeing it coming to the United States.
Okay.
In Washington, a man asks another man his religion, and because he says he's a Christian, he stabs him and his dog. There's no doubt whatsoever that this man was a Muslim and probably an illegal invader.
Yeah, and especially in Washington. Yeah.
So it's coming to the United States.
Well, it's here in the
So-
United States.
Another country isn't going to bring us down. We're going to fall.
Bring our-
We're
gonna fall.
disintegrating from within. Yeah.
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 Doug said Biden became a 33-degree Mason on January 26th, 2025.
Yeah.
I'm
I-
actually not shocked at that. I'm shocked at the date because I thought it would have been way before.
Well, he's been a
20
puppet of theirs much longer than that.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
Muslims aren't
Yeah.
fond
I
of
know.
that. That's
They
true.
hate
That's
dogs,
true.
yeah.
Muslims don't like dogs.
So in this, if we don't, this is Somal America, right? This is, it's kind of a,
Yeah.
it's like the, it's an oxymoron, not an oxymoron. It's a,
Double
what do you call
negative
it?
or well, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, this is what they're trying to do.
Right.
They're trying to do in America what they did in Europe. And with 25 million illegals coming across our border during the Biden admin, the vast majority of those are Muslim invaders. So this is why this is happening.
Oh, I believe you, Rick.
Oh, yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah. Yes.
Even Billy Graham was with it. Yes, I believe that.
And there's a lot of people that be surprised
Be
about.
really
that I'm not really
surprised.
surprised about. Yeah. That was one of the things, Rick, when
really surprised.
a few years back, I was one of those people who was like, get out of here with your conspiracy theories. Show me facts.
Yeah.
Show me fact, or just, don't even talk about it, because I'm not going to entertain conspiracy theories, when there's no factual background to confirm it. And then I learned, and it's not that I wouldn't believe, it's just you needed to show me some facts.
Almost all presidents,
And I
except
learned,
for Lincoln and Trump.
right. That's what I've heard too. Washington definitely was. But that's the thing. A few years ago, somebody pointed out a video from a guy that showed all kinds of documentation on the secret society and how they flaunt it in our face with, Hollywood just flaunts it in our face and just did all of the signs right in front of us and just, all of the things going on. And then I started really digging, and I've learned exactly what you're talking about, that they're all, you don't get to be in a position of power these days unless you're one of them. And yeah, Biden definitely is one of them. I'd be surprised that he wasn't a 33rd degree before last year, but because he definitely was certainly their puppet, which, they're not all 33rd degree. Some of them are just used because they're so greedy and power hungry, and they'll do anything just to promote themselves. So they don't all have to be invited to the 33rd degree, but the high levels definitely.
Yeah.
So
I believe that about
anyway,
Billy Graham.
I'm going to move on from Somal America. I really hope we can stop this, but this is one of the things going on right now is, China is 70, 80 years in their 100-year plan to rule the world, and they're escalating. They're pushing that envelope. They want to do it sooner because of everything going on. And China is, they're Xi Jinping. This is not the first time. Xi Jinping, I know.
No, I'm
However you
laughing at what
pronounce it.
Annie said. They might as well take Taiwan because it ain't going to be worth anything because it's all going to go into
Yeah,
the
good luck.
earthquake.
You can have it. We're all going to leave.
But
Xi
Jinping actually has done purges recently. This is not the first time where he's getting rid of all of the people in his government that are opposition to him, and he's taking absolute control. And what does that mean?
No,
that means he's going to push something that they were kind of resisting, and he's getting rid of all those that aren't behind him, and getting ready to, China has been infiltrating, hacking, invading our country as much as they can. They've got so much going on that most people don't even know about. And I they're just waiting for their moment China is even involved when trying to get us involved in other wars so that we can be involved in multiple war fronts. And if we're involved in multiple war fronts, we wouldn't have enough resources to stop them from taking Taiwan. And that's exactly what they're pushing to do. And they may even hit us with cyber attacks and EMP and try to take us down. So, there's just so much going on with that. We're watching that.
Why do they want to take over some place that has a lot of earthquakes?
Well, they're probably not worth
anything.
They're probably not.
Well, Taiwan is not having that many earthquakes right now. I mean, that whole ridge in that area is, but Taiwan itself has not been devastated by an 8 or anything like that.
Aren't they also getting tsunamis and everything?
There's tsunamis happening.
Normal tsunamis.
But it's not. It hasn't destroyed the country or anything by any means.
And to Doug, no, MAGA is not a level of Satanism. It is Make America Great Again. And President Trump and President Lincoln were two. I looked it up. I actually looked it up. They're the two presidents that did not get invited into the 33 degree.
Yeah, Trump is a 32nd degree.
He's a 36.
But he's never been invited to the 33rd.
Me and Diane are blood sisters. Our father got up to 32nd, and he never got invited to the 33rd. And
he even said, he always wondered why he never got invited.
Yeah, he said, why can't I go to the 33
But it's because he would have never done the things that they do in the 33rd. That's how they filter out people, and that's how they actually hide, because they've got all level 1 through 32 don't know anything about the 33rd degree, and they all swear up and down, and nothing like that ever happens in the Freemasons. And so they've got all these people saying nothing like that ever happens, and only the people that proved through rising in rank that they would be loyal to the 33rd degree do they ever get invited.
Our dad was a Baptist minister, so I really don't think that he would have gone to that extreme. But
Tehran, war starts, Russia will attack Europe. Well, that's the thing, is you have to remember that Iran and Russia and China always stick together. And if we were to go in and start a war with Iran, China, and Russia, would almost certainly get involved. Yes.
Yeah. And don't forget.
So we're waiting to see what happens.
Don't forget Rocket Man.
Rocket Man. Yeah.
North Korea.
Kim Jong-un. I hope, Doug, that you read your Bible from cover to cover.
Yes, definitely.
And dispel the lies of the church, because it doesn't matter what denomination you are. Yeah. I would love for you to read the Bible and find out what your church teaches that is a lie, because we all came from that. We all came from did. And I'd like to point something out if you're willing. I've got on my video site 24 of Satan's lies in the churches. And I've got a document that lists all of these. If you prefer to read or watch the video, I would invite you, Doug, to watch that, read that, and see if your church teaches any of those lies. And if so, think about what Jesus would have you do if your church is teaching lies, because there's no way that Jesus is okay with any lie in doctrines.
I read Bible.
Come out of them, lest ye be partakers of their sins.
Yeah. And Doug, I don't mean just reading some of the Bible. My question always is, how many times have you read the Bible from cover to cover? And if your answer is never, then you need to do it right now and seek God. And definitely, check out that documentation, because it might just you might have an aha moment. I don't know.
Yeah. I did.
I pray you do, because my goal here is not to insult or demean or anything like that, but to help people realize the lies, the depths of the deception of Satan that's in the world right now goes so deep, and it's in the churches.
Yeah.
The churches are so apostate. It's crazy. we need to just love Jesus
That's good.
and follow him in obedience is what we
Yeah.
need to do.
And
So-
Lainey, he said that's something he's working on.
Oh,
And-
good.
And Lainey
Praise
says,
God.
I've had many. Right. Me too.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing. All of us have had those aha moments just reading the Bible. And that's, if you're reading from cover to cover, working on that, praise
Oh.
God, Doug.
Yeah, Annie,
That's
I
what
just
you
wanted
need
to
to
tell
do.
you, did you know that Paul was Italian? And it
Paul
talks
who?
about, and it also talks about his sister and his nephew, Paul.
Oh.
I mean, that's why I'm reading the way I'm reading.
So,
Yeah,
So-
Rick said, come out of her, my people,
yeah.
the great mother harlots,
Lest
abomination
many
of the earth.
Yeah.
of her sin.
And that's the thing is, you know, the Vatican is literally the mother
Yes.
of the Protestant churches, and they've all gone full circle. They're right
Yeah.
back to churchianity, where it's Catholic churchianity across the board now, where they think church saves them. And instead of just, you know, go back to biblical Christianity, go back to the book of Acts and become that Christian, because that's where we need to be.
Mhm.
So Trump, you know, here's the thing. When we talk about war, we talk about what's coming. We talk about what happened in Venezuela. You remember when I showed you that document where one of the Venezuelan soldiers was talking about this weapon,
Mhm.
how it was like some kind of a sound weapon where
Mm.
it literally disabled them completely. They had no,
Yep.
they had no body control.
Yeah.
And it totally disabled the entire army, and they were able to just go in there. And so this discombobulator weapon is a very real thing. We saw it used in Venezuela. Now, if you want to talk about going in, you know, it didn't kill people. It
Oh.
disables them. It's a weapon that could be used anywhere, you know, and that's, if you go into Iran and use that discombobulator to get into where Khomeini's hiding underground, you know, wow, that would be something else, right?
So why does Protestant Bibles have 66?
Well, so I'll tell you, Doug, the Catholic has added their own books to the Bible.
Right.
And, you know, that
Yeah.
the Septuagint and the Apocrypha are tools of Satan. And I would highly recommend you stay away from them. I'll show you something on my website. In fact, I'm going to show you on BibleProphecyandTruth.com or my video site, there's a search thing. And if you search for Septuagint, you'll find
Nada.
No results found.
Septuagint. Oh, how did I spell it? I must have spelled it wrong. How do you spell Septuagint? Okay,
I
so-
don't even know what it is.
I never even heard of that one.
How about Apocrypha?
We've been here
Well,
for
sir,
a
there
long
we go.
time too.
Septuagint. Didn't I spell it like that?
Septuagint.
No.
Anyway, I had it fat fingered, I bet. Anyway, if you search for Septuagint or Apocrypha and find this document, because on this document, I show where, you know, the true Old Testament is not the Catholic version, but I also have this stuff about the Apocrypha and the books that were added to the Bible by the Catholic Church and why we should not read them. I highly encourage you to check that article out. So
You
please
should do a Bible study on that.
Ethiopian Orthodox has 81 books in their Bible.
I know
the heck?
there's a lot of different versions all over the place. Yeah, thank you, Lainey. So
Oh yeah, Enoch.
now there's one book that's extra biblical that I believe is from God, Doug, and that's the book of Enoch. I actually have some notes on it on my website under the notes menu, the notes on the book of Enoch, and I have a link to where you can actually download the full text. I have it right here on my site,
Oh yeah.
That's
where
what I'm
you
gonna
can
do.
you can actually read the book of Enoch if you want. But I've studied it. I find no contradictions with the Bible. I actually mentioned some of the arguments that people make and how they're not really relevant. Enoch was mentioned and quoted. So you can.
Doug says he's reading Enoch too.
Yeah, it's very, very informative. It's really cool. Yeah. So the 10-week prophecy is absolutely amazing. But
was Enoch Moses's grandfather?
No, it was Noah's great grandfather.
Oh, Noah's.
Yeah, and Noah actually preserved the words of Enoch through the flood. Yeah.
So then then they're correct.
And actually, what?
Enoch?
So Enoch is just as good as the Bible.
Well, I believe that it is a word of God from the thing when they created the canon of the Bible, they didn't have a copy of Enoch, so they couldn't have inserted it. It was found and discovered when the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered. There's a version in Ethiopia from the 1700s that's completely different than the one we found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So the one I have is the one from the Dead Sea Scrolls. The two witnesses are not Elijah and Moses. No. I've got documentation where I talk about that as well. I know, Rick, that the Catholics say they compiled the Bible, but that's a lie. The Bible was actually compiled over many years by many people, and they decided which ones were authentic. The Catholic Church then changed that to say that they did it during the many years of the Dark Ages, where they tried to change history and tried to rewrite everything and said that, whatever they wanted to say. So it's not true. I know they say so, but it's not true. Anyway, back to this stuff because we're running out of time. I'm waiting to see if Trump's going to use this discombobulator maybe to go into Iran. That would be something else. Because it doesn't kill people, it just disables them. So it's actually a great weapon to use, right? Because you're not killing anyone.
Heck.
And then this is the most ridiculous statement I've heard come from this. He is the enemy of the people and has proven that over and over. And he's like, would it be a good thing if Iran got the bomb? Like, what is Iran's stated purpose? They want to blow Israel off the map. The first thing they're going to do with a nuclear weapon is nuke Israel. Like, how could that be a good thing? Except that he's a Jew hater now. So of course he would think it's a great idea. What an evil, evil man.
I know.
Netanyahu refused to join the Board of Peace. I wonder why.
They're all countries that want to kill his country.
I know. So it's like, I'm not going to sit at the table with these people. I wouldn't either.
And this isn't the confirmation of the covenant, which means that they're, they have not given them that treaty.
Right.
That is.
So, and he says no Palestinian state, right? They're retaining control of Gaza. So, what's happening here? I could see God's hand in this, manipulating things so it forces the treaty to be signed.
Yeah.
He's going to force it. And quickly, I think.
It's just boiling right now.
It is.
So do I believe that Goliath had genes from the fallen angels? I'm not really going to comment on that because I can't say. There were giants in those days, definitely. And we know that the angels that sinned had children with women and were giants and mighty men. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So Hamas wants 10,000 of its police officers in Gaza administration. Really? I mean, this is the stuff that they want to do is so ridiculous.
They're on phase 2, but Hamas is not giving in.
They're not disarming.
So how does that make them in phase 2?
I know. And that's the thing, they're going to end up trying to force this. And that's why I think it's really going to be a multinational force that Trump's already creating to go in there and force the peace. And they're going to and they're going to be forced into doing more than this and actually creating a two-state solution, which most of the world wants to do. So I can see this happening quickly when it does.
Yeah.
Trump to Iran time is running out. I mean, we got this huge war machine that's over there right now, you know.
Well,
and so
there's a lot of ships.
And that discombobulator weapon's just like, wow, that is just.
What'd they do? They just fell over or something?
Well, you remember I brought that up in a live a little while ago when they went into Venezuela. They used this sonic weapon that actually caused them to. They had no control over their bodies. They could not even stand up. They couldn't fight. They couldn't. They were a lot of them were getting sick. You know, they were.
It just kind of enabled them.
Yeah, it disabled their body. Yeah.
Doug says two-state solution will usher in the Antichrist.
Absolutely, it will. Yes, because when we see the signing of the confirmation of the covenant, then when we look at Daniel 8, we see that about 8 months later is when the Antichrist is going to stand up. That's when he's going to create the 10-nation union, which is the fourth beast of Daniel 7. And they're going to do this in indignation. And with indignation, they're going to have indignation against the Holy Covenant in Daniel 11, which when they sign the peace treaty, it's going to be to do mischief, which is what it says in Daniel 11. They're going to mischievously sign this, and then it's not going to do what they wanted it to do, which it even says in Daniel 11 that it's not time. So God stops it. Their little plans don't work out. So then they're mad. They have indignation against the covenant that they just signed. Yeah. And that's when he creates the 10-nation union and begins working on taking over the world. Yeah, it's so awesome, the prophecies of Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Israel and Syria to finalize a U.S. brokered security deal, which is crazy because this is a jihadist terrorist in a suit, you know, that just wants to destroy Israel. The only reason he's putting on a suit and smiling is to deceive and to further the agenda of Islam.
I can see the horns on the top of his head.
Yeah. Kazakhstan entered the Abraham Accords. I mean, this is still happening, right?
I've never heard of a Kazakhstan.
I don't think that it's going to actually be the Abraham Accords, though. I really doubt it. It could be.
I know.
But I kind of think it's going to be the world forcing a two-state solution. Israel announced, of course, everybody's probably heard about this. They finally got the last hostage back.
Yeah.
So.
Two witnesses.
Oh, you absolutely have to understand prophecy, Daniel.
Two witnesses are also the two olive trees.
Yes, that's true. In Isaiah. Yeah.
Wait, I can't even hardly see it.
You don't have your glasses on.
I don't know.
So yeah, that's okay. You know, maybe we'll talk about that some more in another live stream. But I've got to get through this.
I know. He's trying to get. We would love.
And yes, Doug. In fact, more than Daniel, you need to understand more than Daniel. You need to understand Zechariah, Joel, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Daniel. All prophecy. I'm just gonna put this out there. All prophecy has to fit together. All of it has to fit together like a hand and a glove, all of it, before it can be realized as true. And it literally does. It literally does. The pictures God painted, all of it all fits together in this final grand mosaic. It's awesome. So, but the last hostage was recovered, which is really cool. So that's why they think they're going into the second phase, but part of the second phase is that Hamas has to disarm.
I know, and I'm really happy that the last hostage was recovered, but why am I supposed to trust Hamas?
Well, we can't. It's Islam.
Trust them.
Yeah. So, and then another, I'm kind of tired of talking about Tucker Carlson because he's such a liar and a deceiver and a Jew hater and he's an evil, evil man. But he keeps saying things that are just so ridiculous. America had no Islamic terrorism problem before 1948. Really? Because in 1798, They actually created the U.S. Navy in 1798 because of Islamic terrorism. Imagine that. It's been a problem since Muhammad created Islam for the past 1,300 years.
Yeah, he keeps like opening up his mouth.
He doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. He's just throwing out junk.
He does know, and he knows he's lying, and he doesn't care. He's a tool of the enemy and a puppet, and he's just doing that.
Oh yeah, you're right about Candace Owens.
Yeah, Candace is. Oh, what's funny is Ye is now apologizing for all of his anti-Semitism.
I don't care.
It's just so. Oh my gosh, it's so funny watching this stuff. But
all Luciferians
and so many people are all of a sudden turning into Jew haters. It just proves that the lying wonders of Satan are literally causing the world to go insane. Literally.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know.
More than 36,500 protesters have been killed now. The number keeps going up and up and up. When is this? I feel really bad for the people of Iran just being slaughtered by the regime there.
They're not giving up.
Yeah. Roger Waters and Jimmy Carter are huge Jew haters. Oh my gosh. The vile spewing
it's just
nonsense
it surprises me. And it just it doesn't surprise me. But it kind of like, what, really?
That's the thing, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, it says that God sends a strong delusion that those that don't love him, that take pleasure in unrighteousness, will believe the lying wonders of Satan. And we're watching this because delusion is insanity, right? That's the definition of being, if you're deluded, you're insane. And the world is literally going insane with the lying wonders of Satan, which is all the propaganda. We're supposed to hate Jews, all of that. It's literally the lying wonders of Satan, deceiving and blinding the entire world, turning them insane. When we talk about the coming peace treaty, the Saudi crown prince will not accept any aggression against Iran. This is one of the things, that with Trump going over there, this very well, what you keep talking about, Trump's going to bring peace and war. And if he goes into Iran, it's not going to stop there.
They're going to rain on his parade.
Russia, China, North Korea, all the Muslim nations that are all chumming around with us are suddenly going to be our enemies. Yeah. So we'll see how all this plays out.
So, whatever needs to happen to fulfill prophecy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So in Afghanistan, the Taliban approved a law legalizing slavery, sex slavery, and violence against children on Islamic grounds, because Sharia law says that they can do anything they want. And slavery, slavery is supposed to be a thing of the past, but slavery is alive and well in Islam. They're kidnapping people and making slaves out of them every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day. Yeah, and then, a jihad suicide bomber blows himself up in a Chinese restaurant in Afghanistan. Yeah.
Murdered 7 people.
Yeah,
this is what you get with Islam.
I don't know.
A Chinese restaurant in Afghanistan. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, this is Islam. This is what's coming to this country with all of this, people are so blind when, almost all of the mass murder attacks that have happened in this country have been Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or they're trannies that are just insane, but most of them have converted to Islam and suddenly they think they have to start killing people. Isn't that funny?
Or committing suicide just out of nowhere. I think I'll kill myself.
Yeah, at a wedding.
In Pakistan, a jihad suicide bomber blows himself up at a wedding. Yeah.
Like,
For
what kind of
nothing.
point do you want to
It's
prove?
because Satan is doing this.
Yeah. They're children of the devil, big time. And there's so much in Islam, there is so much evil spirit possession going on there that
Yeah.
it's just
You got that
absolutely
right.
mind-blowing. You know, hey, you want to talk about the secret society, 33rd degree Masons? Well, look at Islam and all of the insanity of the devil
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
possessing people in those, in the you know,
Religion.
the really dense Muslim areas are really, really bad, man.
Yeah.
So a couple things to wrap up. A couple memes of the day. If you claim to love God, then keep his commandments. Love without obedience is empty talk. And that's
Yeah.
one thing we've talked about a lot on this live stream is, you know,
Yeah.
what does the Bible say that we as Christians should do?
Be
Right? We
obedient.
should be obedient. I mean, it's all over the place. And, you know, there's just so much about churchianity. You know, this whole idea you can just say a prayer and you're locked in and you're saved because you repeated a prayer. I mean, silly, stupid things like that are taught as
Right.
truth in church denominations. And it's, yeah, messing with evolutionists. You know what? All of the fossil record and everything that the
Exactly.
Earth shows us proves a global flood, but they'll
Yeah.
deny.
Oh, I know.
And why are there seashells on the tops of all the mountain chains, right? I mean, there's just so many things that evolutionists ignore. And you know
But
why,
it
Doug?
is. Why
You know
are they
why?
still here then?
Why? Well, because evolution is their religion.
Yeah,
Evolution
it is.
Watch,
is their
watch the
religion.
3-part series, Evolution versus Creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Watch those
a
series.
seminar here on my Creation versus Evolution part of my website. You can watch this seminar that we did a live stream, and then Diane took that
Yeah.
and made 3 videos, adding a bunch of modern day documentation and news
Yes,
articles and news
To
stuff.
back up what he
So
was
it's-
saying.
Yeah, definitely check out that seminar because it absolutely is a satanic lie. Yes, absolutely.
Mhm. And it's
So-
true. If evolution was true, why are they not evolving out?
Well,
They're all. It's just
There's
so
no, there
dumb.
should be innumerable intermediate stages found in the fossil record, and there's not. That's one thing that Darwin himself said, that if his theory were true, there should be innumerable intermediate stages found in the fossil record, and they don't find any. So he questions his own theory that everybody just, worships today. And the only
Mhm.
reason the only reason they do that is because they don't want to submit to God. They don't want to believe that God exists and submit to something greater than them. And so they worship evolution. It's their religion. Seriously.
Yeah.
So that, and then one more meme that I wanted to show, and talk about repentance, right? Because I'm going to shrink this down a little bit so we can see the whole thing. But this whole idea of repentance is actually misunderstood in like churchianity. They think it's this shameful, self-loathing, endless replaying your failures junk, right? But that's not what it means. To repent is to change your mind. To repent is to turn away from your old self, turn around, and start following Jesus in obedience. I mean, that's what repentance means. And it's never represented as humiliation. Right? God does not crush the one who turns back. Conviction is meant to heal, not wound.
Right.
And Jesus is the great healer. When you submit yourself totally to God and give your life to Jesus,
freedom.
He heals all of those soul wounds, those hurts from the past. And I mean,
Yes.
he creates in us a clean heart.
It's
You know?
freedom.
Yeah,
It's freedom.
absolutely. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So it starts with honesty, right?
Yeah.
Finally giving in, changing your mind, and
Mhm.
realizing and admitting and acknowledging that God is who he says he is, and submitting yourself
Yes.
to him humbly. Yeah.
Amen, Lainey.
Mhm.
Absolutely, Lainey.
She says,
Yeah.
yes, we are reborn.
Take up your cross and follow him,
Jesus.
which is what he says to do.
Amen.
Yeah. So this was fun. This was a great Bible study.
Yeah,
So,
we appreciate everybody being in chat. That was great.
yeah. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah,
So
some
let me-
really good comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me pray real quick and we'll say goodbye. So thank you, Lord, for everything. Thank you for bringing some new people to our channel today.
Yes.
Thank you for speaking through me, Lord, and teaching.
Yeah.
And I pray, Lord, that you would just continue to help us to reach more people, to dispel the lies of Satan, to help this world before so many are going to die in their sin, Lord. Help us to feel your grief, to have your heart, Lord, to grieve over the lost souls in this world, the wickedness of man, the darkness that's covering the world, Lord.
Mhm.
Give us your heart and help us to help them and serve you, Lord, in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. All right now. Okay. Lainey, Kathleen, Douglas, Christopher, Rick. Oh, somebody else? No, I think that's it. I think that's it.
So thank you all. We love you all.
Yes, thank you.
The whole reason we're here is to help you because we love you, because Satan has so many lies in the church, and it's just about dispelling those lies and helping people to discover
Grumpy.
the truth.
That's right, Grumpy.
So
Grumpy had to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you all. We love you all.
God
All
says
those
amen.
that watch and don't chat. We're just glad
Yes.
you're here. And everybody,
Yes.
That was great.
and we know that a lot of people watch later, and we love every single one of you.
Mhm. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. And with that, right now, give it a big thumbs up. Loving blessings to you too, Rick. Give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you're on YouTube. If you're on Rumble, make sure you're following us over there. And then please go to videos.prophecyandtruth.com, videos.prophecyandtruth.com, and we're live there. Okay, there's videos there. There are libraries on Rumble and YouTube, but go to the website because the website has everything. It has newsletters archived. It's Dan's book on a website. Okay, his whole book, which is downloadable. Okay, for free. Okay. You can sign up for the newsletters. You can nobody can see me, but
I'm showing this. So when you talk about this website being my book, I have the whole book in video format, but there's a link here on the first page to Bible Prophecy and Truth where the book is actually in text. So you can get to both from there. I just wanted to show that while you were talking about it.
yeah. And then turn on the notification bell so you do not miss any great uploads wherever.
Yeah.
And
Share.
Share. Y'all were here. You
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Share this video with literally everybody that you've ever known in your life.
Yep. You've
Okay.
heard something new, say, you got to know what I learned today.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the QR code on your screen will actually take you right to the video site.
Yeah.
So use that if you want
Just
to.
use your phone.
Love and blessings to you, Rick, too.
Use
as
your
well.
phone.
Thank you.
All right. So we love
Thank
you
you all.
guys.
Love you. Thank you, Diane.
Love you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Love you. Thank you.
Love you. Thank you.
Are you taking Friday off?
No.
Okay. 2 more days.
Got to work till at least 11:30 in the morning.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
okay. All right. I love you so much.
Love you, sister. Love you all.
Love
See
you.
you Sunday.
Bye.